So I got these 2 ribeyes today at Save More. Look how big they are. They're pretty good sized. Bigger than my hand and pretty thick on some parts. This one's not so thick, but still. So they were about 150 pesos each. These are the cheap steaks. We're going to tenderize them and try to get them to melt in your mouth. We'll tenderize them overnight this time and see what they taste like tomorrow. So first, let's get a fork. So I'm going to poke holes every ½ inch. I'll repeat this on the other steak. Poke holes all the way through every ½ inch. Alright, so now I'm going to use this seasoned meat tenderizer from the US. And let's sprinkle it. You can see all the fork marks in the meat here. So I'm going to sprinkle some tenderizer on both sides. I'm going to put a lot of tenderizer in here. Then I'll put these in the refrigerator. Last time I left it on for about 6 hours. It did a really good job of tenderizing the cheap steaks. This time I'm going to leave it in until tomorrow. Let this tenderizer work. Alright, now let's put them in the refrigerator. I'm just going to let them sit there overnight. Then we'll season them right before we cook them, and then cook them up for a steak dinner. Actually, we'll have surf and turf. I think I've got a lobster tail somewhere. Alright, we just took the steaks out of the refrigerator. Now let's take some olive oil. I'll squirt a little bit of olive oil on there, and then I'll put on some Chicago steak seasoning on one of the steaks, and some jalapeno seasoning on the other steak. So I'm going to put the olive oil on there. That's going to help all that seasoning stay on there. So first, this is the Weber brand Chicago steak seasoning. And now this is the jalapeno seasoning. Jalapeno is great on chicken too. I just happen to have one lobster in the freezer. Let's get rid of it and let's make some surf and turf tonight. Let's clean it up and steam it. So I heavily salted some water. Gonna mix that up. Let it boil. Put in a colander, or I don't have one that fits in here, so I'm going to put something else in here to put the lobster on top of so I can steam it. I'll just throw this cooktop grill. It's like a Korean cooktop grill on there. Leave it in there, let it boil first, then I'll put the lobster tail on. I prepared some butter, put these in the freezer, so they have herbs, garlic, butter, Italian seasoning, and thyme. Then I made some butter for the lobster too. We'll put those out when everything's ready. Alright, let's throw our lobster in there and let it steam. I'm going to let this steam for about 8 minutes. So based on the size and weight, 8 minutes should be good for this. Let's come back in a bit and get it out of there. I'll let this heat up until this cast iron skillet is smoking. Alright, it's just starting to smoke. This should be hot enough to where I can get a good sear on these. I'm only going to put these on for about 1 minute and 20 seconds on each side. That ought to get me a medium rare. Wonder if I can fit both of them in here. Oh yeah. Looks like this is barely going to fit. Alright, we'll come back in a minute. Alright, that's been about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Let's check it out and see if we've got some grill lines going there. Oh yeah, look at that. And let's leave it on this side for another minute to minute and a half max. Alright, steaks are ready. This one should be medium rare, and this one's a little more than medium rare, about 30 seconds longer for the wife. And lobster. Alright, let's go outside and eat. I'm going to put this butter, one for each steak. This one's for the lobster. Alright, let's put the butter on the steaks. Go. Let's let those steaks sit there for another couple minutes. So after I cook the steaks, let them sit for at least 3 minutes before you cut them open. Alright, let's cut into these steaks and try them out. Alright, I cut up a bunch of sample pieces. Here's the piece from the thicker one. Mmm. That's soft. That's delicious. I think this one has the jalapeno seasoning. And try a piece of the other one. The Chicago steak style. It's that thinner steak, a little tougher. You can tell the tenderizer really helped. But the thicker steak, that one, that's like butter. That's like a much higher end steak. Good stuff.